What's going on, everybody? We're back, the ABJ podcast. I think this is 6. I don't remember. We'll just say it's 6. If it's not 6, I apologize. Then it's 7.
6, 7.
I was Chase's here. And today I'm joined with the Kilowatt, Alex Watts here again, as well as Lily on camera this
Here
time.
I am.
Rare appearance.
In the flesh.
Because she wants to talk about death with us. So
Nice.
we're gonna talk about death, loss, grief, and healing. How we feel about death, how we handle it, and stuff. Just the whole encompassing episode about death. We've had some recent deaths between us, between animals and humans. So that's going to be something to kind of dive into as well. But kind of getting into it, death is one thing every human or every living thing will experience at some point in time. Yet most people avoid talking about it. This episode is about being more. It's not. This episode isn't about being morbid. It's about how we view death, how loss changes us, how grief affects us, how we all heal, and how morality shapes our outlook on life. So let's get into it right away. Do you think our society why do you think our society avoids talking about death? I'll kind of kick it off with you with that one.
It's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. And nobody wants to, not nobody, but a lot of people avoid thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very anxiety inducing. It's, I don't know, for the longest time, anytime I realized my mortality, I would flip into a severe anxiety attack, and I needed people. I had to get out of my solitude. So yeah, it's just it's uncomfortable. It's a inevitable reality that nobody really wants to face, and I think it's a reason why so many people seek religion and spirituality.
Turn that down one level, just so it's not as loud. Sorry, the fan.
Yeah.
It's hot in here.
That's
hot.
my biggest fan.
Yeah, it's our only fan in here.
Nice.
I would agree with that. I also add another layer. Did you just turn it off?
I literally only moved it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the highest. So if you turn it the one direction, it's trying to turn off. You see
It's all right. This is gonna be the first unclothed podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, if it gets hot enough, it'll be like Nelly's music video in here. I also find that I think grief is something that people kind of get selfish with. It's something that it's not so much about the person who has gone through the death. It's about how everyone else feels, how it's going to make them feel that they're no longer around. And it becomes a very me situation. And it's less about like, all right, well, this person's at peace, and maybe they don't have to deal with the worries of the world anymore. And I think it's exclusively more or less like an American culture to think of death that way, because I think other countries that we'll get into don't see it that way. They see death as like a beautiful thing. It's like you've done your time here. Now, obviously, if your life is cut short and stuff, that changes things, or if people take their own lives, that changes the dynamic. But for the most part, it's not really looked at as like a beautiful thing, which is kind of weird also because we live in a very, I don't want to get religion involved right away, but a very Christian nation where it, like when you pass away, it's like you're going to the ultimate like peace, I guess, right? And people are kind of like, oh, I wish they were still here. It's like, no, they're
this is kind of sidetracking, but on the way here I was thinking about Christianity and religion and versus spirituality, right? The Bible versus the teachings of Christ. And this is sidetracked, but I feel like the Bible and religion take God and throw it up there, and it becomes this thing that you have to reach, this thing you have to obtain, this thing you have to connect with, rather than the teachings of Jesus, which is that God is within you and that we are all connected, right? So I feel like the rest of the world understands that a bit, that practice the beauty of becoming one with everything versus obtaining the ability to enter the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
We are already there. In a sense.
This just feels like fucking hell. How do you perceive how others are culturally we perceive death, or
So-
why people don't want to talk about it?
I think that a lot of people, kind of piggybacking off what Alex was saying, it is something very uncomfortable to talk about, and I feel like people in general don't talk about emotions very much unless it's within their close, like, people in their household, people they've known for X amount of years, whatever. People don't want to talk about emotions and, like, getting to know people on a human level. I feel like that it's just not really an interest that people have. But I think also with that, when people are sharing something about a person, they don't, like, I feel like they almost have to admit, then they have to face the fact that this person is gone. And I feel like a lot of people avoid that as well, of like, oh, well,
I agree.
I was talking, or not me specifically, but, you know, someone could be talking about their grandmother or something, and then you're like, oh yeah, how old is she now, or, you know, where's she living and whatever, and then you go, well, she's not with us, and then it's like everyone just immediately stops conversation, like, oh, sorry, my bad, let's talk about something else. And it's like, why? No, like, let's talk about it. Maybe use it as an open in the conversation to start talking about that person and kind of keep their name alive, you know?
Yeah. So I'll kind of stay with you, with Lily, as we kind of dive into part one of this discussion of what does death mean to you? How do you perceive death? How do you go about it?
Do we mean like what do I think happens after we die, or like
no? What does
mean?
Death mean to you?
I think that death ultimately means peace. I think it means, I to some degree do believe in like reincarnation of the spirit. I don't believe that, like, I don't want to say that your spirit can't go somewhere else, right? I don't believe that there is a heaven. I don't believe there's a hell. I don't believe there's a Valhalla. I believe that, you know, we die and we become part of the earth, and then we help other things live again. But and maybe our energy transfers to something else. But I think that death is the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. I think that's the part that a lot of people miss, is the beginning of another cycle. When something's coming to an end, something else is also beginning.
Yeah. How about you?
I mean, vibes, because everything you just said is exactly how I feel. I feel like the death is just the start of a new beginning. Whether that's for you or not, I don't know. None of us know. I have ideas. We'll find out one day.
Yeah.
But, you know, for those left behind, it's the beginning of a new journey, a new way of life. And yeah, it's kind of a circle. And like you said about like becoming part of the earth and stuff like that. Like for me, probably fast forwarding a bit, but when I pass, I would prefer to be in one of those organic body bags and just
a pod. I want to be in one of those pods, man.
I want to be in one of those. I was talking to the funeral director the other week, and they said that's becoming very popular. I was like, cool, because that's my thing. That's what I want.
I'm taking you in pieces. If we're putting you in a bag and carrying you up in the woods or something.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
No, we're gonna. There's enough insurance money.
We're black
to hire
Dahlia,
some people.
Yeah,
man.
we're gonna black Dahlia.
Yeah, get a truck.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way a little bit, but maybe not. Like, I generally, just like you said, no one knows. I don't really dwell a lot on what could possibly be the next step after death. I just know that I feel like I want to, I guess this is more of a recent aspect, because I struggled for a very long time with the idea of I didn't want to be here. And I definitely didn't want to be here past a certain time frame, and I'm coming up to that time frame, and I've now found a second lease on life of like, oh no, I kind of want to be past that time. I have more I want to accomplish. I think I can make a positive change. I think I want to, I might sound selfish, but I kind of want to leave a legacy. I want people to hear ABJ or hear this and be like, man, he had some good conversations. If you go back and check out some of his stuff, like when people look at certain artists or musicians or podcasts or anything, and you're like, yo, go back like 6 years and listen to what they were talking about. Like, they were on to something. I kind of hope I'm in that vein, you know? Or maybe I was way wrong, and people are like, yo, go back and listen to this fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
Sure. Or maybe there's a greater purpose to that, you know, if you think about how things echo. Something you say on a podcast could literally just be the purpose, right?
Yeah.
Something you say could affect somebody that affects somebody else that does something really important.
Yeah, and I feel like I've helped a lot of people get to that next level.
I believe you have.
I've had a lot of old podcasts where I remember giving people ideas of like, yo, you should try to go this route. I think this would work for you, and now they're doing it and they're successful. I don't take any credit for that. I just see like, I think I'm very good at seeing someone, their skills, and being like, you should push that. I think that's where it's going to be a good grade. Like, I feel like I have an ability with that aspect, but it has nothing to do with me. It's just maybe planting the seed, but you still have to grow it and put the work in and make that plant grow.
Sure, yeah.
I'm not taking any credit for people's hard work.
Yeah, they got to take that inspiration. And put it into
but when it
perspiration.
comes to death, man, like I don't really care. And when people die, and this is gonna maybe sound fucked up, but I get jealous. There's an ounce of jealousy in there for me of like, fuck, man, I kind of wish it was me. You know what I mean? Like maybe not going out in a way of like I struggled, or it was not a great way to go, or I lost my mind or my body, or slowly, it got eaten away by cancer, or like, I mean, everybody kind of wants to do the like die in your sleep, or just light switch, it's off, it's over type deal. But like, I don't know, it's I guess it's like we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I generally don't fear the idea of death or experiencing it. Like when I feel like I'm getting there, I'm very much at peace with it, if that makes sense. And that's kind of morbid and gross to say at 39 years old, but I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at.
I used to fear it.
I don't think there's an age appropriateness on feeling something, but I also feel as though there are certain times in my life where I can go, wow, I'm never going to make it out of this. And like there have been situations in which I should have been dead, and I'm sitting there like crying and begging for my life. And then but there I was 2 weeks before saying I was going to do it to myself, and I didn't. So I'm like, well, do I really want this, or
Yeah.
And but I do think that like, I feel like, I don't know, I think maybe I'm saying too much, but I feel that everybody at some point in time is like, I'm just tired of existing.
I think it's the way we process those moments, because I know some people say that those ideologies of not wanting to exist or suicidal ideations really come from wanting the death of that moment or that experience.
100%.
And then those things tend to go away. When
like I generally feel like I've died numerous times.
Right.
And because I've mentally got to a point where I was down, I was out, I wanted to die, I didn't do it. And I got to a point where I sat back and I go, okay, well, death's not the option here, because I don't want to. And it's not because I'm a chicken, or I backed out, or I generally think about others, and I'm like, for a while I had to rewire even that of like, I'm not doing it for others anymore. Like the reasons why I'm here, those reasons, I'm not, no disrespect, but like, I don't feel like they give a fuck. I'm here for me now, and I feel like once that ego death happened, or that aspect of me going through that and being like, all right, cool, I don't want to be here, severe depression, go through it, fight back up, and you're like, all right, that was a part of me that died. Now they're like, I have now transformed into a new person, and I'm gonna look at things differently. So
like the idea of being a chicken because you didn't commit suicide, right?
That's just my male toxic.
It's kind of
trait.
crazy, but also like when you look at like Buddhism, they believe that the essence of life really is suffering, right?
Yeah.
So the strength is the suffering, is the pushing through.
Yeah, and honestly, after the past like 4 years of, and I don't want to downplay it, because I love you to death, and I'm very happy for the 3 years we've been together. But like, you've been through probably the 4 worst years of my life, like 4 or 5, because like even my last year of my marriage, I was in a really dark, depressive state, and I was struggling, and I feel like my dreams and my goals were falling apart. I felt like I wasn't accepted into my local scenes and stuff, and I still struggle with that, where I feel like people don't want me around, and if it's true or not, I don't know. It's just where my brain goes. But like, I generally wouldn't look back at any of that struggle and be like, man, I wish I didn't experience it, because like I'm generally grateful, because like I feel like it mentally has changed me. And like I said, I feel like I went through a death without physically dying or leaving people behind. I think I left a part of me. Yeah,
you've killed that past self, and you've your present self is now that former future self. That's complicated. I'm going to shut up.
Yeah.
At some degree, though, that depression is almost liberating. Of like, once you get past it, then it's like, okay, well, now I've survived that. what's next, and it's like
Yeah.
you fight for a bit and then sometimes you're losing that fight, but every time you get up and every day that you choose to get up and fight, you're still fighting, you're still successfully one day past your worst day in your life.
Yep. So kind of kicking it back around the room, I'll start with you again, Alex, on this
Hey.
one. Is what is your first real experience with death? And that doesn't necessarily have to be family. It could be a pet, a grandparent, a public figure, someone from school, someone in wrestling or pop culture, because we're going to dive into pop culture and how death and that
has affected me. We'll get
or
to
just in general. Maybe you have an experience where you experience death and you don't even know the person.
So the first thing I can remember, and it may have been prior to this, but we lived in Alabama, and my brother's great-grandmother passed away. And then very shortly after, the great-grandfather passed away. And I remember being in the funeral homes, like almost like a movie. Like I can remember the scenes, and I can remember the feeling. And the feeling was like, why is everybody crying, but I don't feel that way? And I was young. I didn't understand it, right? But then the older I get, I also keep asking myself, why am I not crying? Why am I so good at holding my emotions? And, not that I'm not experiencing them, but like I can't show it to people, especially the people close to me. I could probably cry in front of you better than I can my family.
Yeah. I've definitely cried in front of you before, more than I cried in front of anyone in my entire life. Yeah.
And I appreciate the vulnerability, man. But yeah, when young, it was the great grandparents. It was dogs that had passed away. Those probably hit me more. I remember crying when I found out my dogs died. It was just a weird experience because as a kid, you don't understand what permanence is. And death is weird.
Yeah. I'm going to skip you and come back to you last. I'm going to kind of go around this way. So mine is not a memory I remember, but I feel like it's something that my brain definitely experienced or went through only because I have this lapse of memory. I have memories that go back very far. I have a very good memory with certain things and stories and aspects. I know what the feeling was of my grandmother Betty, my Elizabeth Blackwell. I know our bond was strong. I know that the love was super strong, but even when she passed away, my mom even said I wasn't like cold, but I was just kind of like angry. Like, why did she leave me?
Sure.
And I was very, very young. And then maybe kind of dive into the paranormal a little bit here, maybe a ghost story here. Cool. My mom said I woke up and I kept telling her there's a witch upstairs and she needs to come see it. And I have like vivid dreams of like when I was up in my room, I was safe. But when I was in the basement, if I was alone, I wasn't.
Yeah.
And there was always something that protected me. I don't know what any of that means.
If you don't have a section for paranormal stuff, please pinhold that. 'Cause we should circle back to that.
Yeah. But I kind of gotten to a point where I kind of erased through grief all of my memories of my gram because I don't remember anything and people tell me, but then people are like, oh, you're very similar to her in these aspects or this and that. And I generally have zero memory. And I think even at a young age, I think I look at death and I go, okay, they're gone. And I just kind of, thankfully I don't do this anymore, but I just erase that person. But I think that was my first experience of death as a kid. And the easiest way for me was to kind of like go into if my brain was a computer, just like drag all the files of this person and just delete them. And that's kind of think what I did as a kid because I generally have zero memory. Like I don't remember her face, only in photos. I don't remember any stories, moments. It's just all secondhand of what people told me. But I can tell you other situations that happened at that age that she was clearly there for, but I don't remember. So it's weird. And then when my grandfather died, not her husband or ex-husband, but my grams that's living with me currently, that was the same thing. I went to the funeral and everybody was crying and I was kind of like, oh, why are we playing? Like when I'm together with my cousins, it's like playtime. I'm like, I get it. We went up, we seen the casket. Okay, see you later. Bye. I'm sad. And then it's like, let's go downstairs and wrestle. Let's go play. Let's go hang out. Let's play tag. And they're like, no, we're sad. I'm like, all right, y'all are fucking kind of lame. Like I was like pissed that everybody else was like not moving on, if that made sense. And I was just kind of like, I've always kind of been that way. And then like as I got older, I only cried at funerals because I felt guilty because I wasn't feeling what everybody else felt.
Sure.
But I would just look at them and be like, have that moment of like, fuck, man, like you're gonna experience that next step, and I'm kind of jealous. I want to see what that is, but then also like I always kind of gravitated towards death of being like, well, let's fucking talk great stories about them. Let's reminisce on the great stuff. Let's reminisce on that. Or and I mean, there are some people that have still passed away that I do think of the good things, but then I also kind of like, man, I fucking don't like that person. And I still latch onto those things too.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when people die, people erase the negative, and they're just like, well, I'm going to pretend all that happened because I have to respect death more. And I'm like, no, fuck that. I didn't respect you when you were alive, and I'm not going to respect. Yeah.
Authentic about it. I won't say her name, but I had like an aunt that did wonderful things for me and my family. But then there was a point where she did some pretty shitty things too. And when she passed, that's what I remembered.
Yeah.
And I think be conscious of the legacy you're leaving.
Yeah. And then growing up with my father as an emergency responder, I remember I went with him. We were just like happened to be going down the road, and we came across a car accident, and I was like young, and I literally like watched death happen.
Sure.
And I was like 13, and or maybe even younger. But like that memory is with me forever. But like not in like I'm grossed out or I'm traumatized. It wasn't beautiful because it was a very horrible way to go about it, and someone lost their wife, and I'm not going to go into the details because it is a local story and I don't know who family and stuff, but it was weird. It was like I remember just being young and everyone was like, are you good? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. But like that was like the first time I experienced it where it wasn't for me. But like I experienced a ton of it, man. Like I've ton, like between pets and family, I think I've probably experienced it more than it's an uncomfortable amount between family and friends, and drug overdoses, suicide, cancer. Cancer's a big one that gets everybody.
Yeah.
But
I went through a phase, really not a phase, just an avoidance era of when people would die. I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to the funeral. I just don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that point too. What about you, Lily? What was your first experience or real experience with death?
Okay, first experience that I can remember. Now, mind you, I am from a very Hispanic family, and I was living in Corpus Christi for most of my childhood. I was 5 years old when Selena died, and we lived in Corpus Christi, and the entire city was like, everyone's going outside with their candles, and we're all going to pray for her.
So yours was a celebrity death?
Yeah, that was the first one I ever remember. And then I think my great grandparents passed away. One when I was 7, one when I was 9, and one when I was 12. My great grandmother on my grandma's side had already been passed away. Yeah. So anyway, but I think that when my great grandfather that passed away when I was 12, like it hit me really hard because he spoke only Spanish and I knew no Spanish. Like my parents, my family all spoke Spanish to each other, but not to the kids. It was like their own little, we're going to have adult talk over here. But he, for his last few years of life, he was in a nursing home. Not a nursing home, like an assisted living spot. And the woman that would take care of him, she would always get me to tell him, like, come on, it's time to eat. And so I would just walk outside and I would say, come on, it's time to eat in Spanish. And then he'd walk in and we'd eat dinner together, and he'd give me some hot chocolate, and we'd sit on his little velvet couch and everything, and like shag carpet. Like I remember like it was yesterday. I could remember how it smells and everything, like cigarettes and stuff. But whenever we found out he passed away, it was just like I didn't have a big communication with him, but I still felt really close to him. And it was like, that's a big part that's no longer going to be with me. That I think that was the first funeral where I felt emotions. But I feel like I was also still in that, maybe not so young as to be like, well, why aren't we playing? But it was like, okay, can we stop doing this now? Can we all just go back home and like start talking about him and like play dominoes or something? Like, can we just not all be sitting here?
Can we all mask up and move on?
So Catholic, like, what's it called? Like the services and stuff are already super long, and now make it Mexican Catholic. So it's like a 6 to 8 hour long service, and you're like,
fuck that.
Okay, I miss him. I miss him a lot. I really miss him, but I also want to go home. But I think the first step
there should be
really
less of the church aspect of death and more of like, I think
the
more people should have
aspect.
more. I generally feel this way. I think more people. I hate when I go to a funeral and this genuinely offends me, and I get upset about it. When people go to funerals and no one wants to get up and say anything.
Yep.
That pisses me the fuck off. Like, this person has been around this long. You can't. You took time out of your day to be here, and you can't say 3 words. You can't. You can't fucking be like, "Hey, I'm thankful for this person for this one thing." Like, and I get people like, "Well, I just generally can't do that. I can't." Yes, you can.
Sure can.
Like, I don't know. That pisses.
Literally, a memory, a good story, anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that special, but anything is nice. That's what we're going to do for Jackie, is like a celebration of life rather than a traditional funeral, because while she would probably enjoy the religious aspect, we can sprinkle it in, but I think it's more important to honor the life.
Yeah. I'm very, like, with Jackie, I'm very, like, it's conflicting, because, like, when we go and we do that, like, all of my memories of Jackie are memories that from moment to moment she didn't, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't remember. Like, I never met Jackie in a healthy spot, if that makes sense.
It does, but what's also crazy is same.
Yeah.
Because it's been so long.
Yeah.
That all of the memories that I can generate are in that time period.
Yeah, where she was like a younger version of herself.
Now talking with other people who haven't experienced this version of her as much, like my cousin Jay, we'll talk about the time that we were driving home from Dorney Park and Jackie started road raging and swearing, and we heard words that we've never heard before, and it was one of the greatest moments of our life. We can't forget it. So, like, boom, great story.
Yeah.
You know? And
Jackie was a looker back in the day, too. She was a beautiful woman.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that picture. It was nice.
Yeah, she was beautiful. Yeah, that was... now, is it, like... We've been friends for almost 10 years now.
How crazy is that?
And, like, she literally lived for 10 plus years of just, like... zero to no memory of her of like people from time to time.
Not only that, but she was diagnosed in late 2010, and so the doctors, when we had that like horrific meeting, were like, all right, well, she definitely has dementia, but she also has Alzheimer's, and people with that usually don't last that long.
Yeah, she lasted a long time.
They're like maybe 10 years, like that's usually it, but she was closer to 16.
Yeah.
And they were pretty astonished by that.
Yeah.
On top of that, she had other diseases, like muscle diseases. Everything that she had was like attacking her well-being, and she was a survivor.
I'm going to take a quick break and just do a quick...
Sure.
I want to do a positive Jackie story or a funny Jackie story.
Go for it, yeah.
My favorite Jackie moment is when you guys dyed her hair blue.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now, some people would look at that and be like, that was fucking mean.
No.
But it was like, they're like, oh, Jackie, we're going to color your hair. And then when they watched it, she like looked up in the mirror and she goes, what the fuck?
Yeah. I was like,
they
do you love me?
They immediately put it back. But it was, because like you seen like a part of her come out there. Like it was like a genuine, like, I'm experiencing something now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's very much in that moment. Just looking at me, she's like, if I had a gun, I'd shoot you.
That's literally
like,
what she said.
Yeah, I was thinking about putting that, because I want to make like all the videos I have of her, I want to make a mashup, do my whole thing with video editing, and I definitely want to put that in there.
Yeah.
It's a good scene.
She was good people. I don't want to skip over you. Is there anything else you wanted to add to your...
I did want to just say that, like, I don't want to, like, take away from what we were just talking about, but I think the first funeral where I felt maybe enough in my emotions, in my maturity of emotions at that point, was my junior year in high school. A kid that I was in ROTC with, him and his girlfriend were hit head on by an 18-wheeler, and both of them died immediately on impact. And when I tell you that was like the first funeral I went to that I sobbed all day, and then you couldn't get into the church where they were like having the service and everything. Like it was that full, and it was literally everyone from school. Like they were in so many. She was in choir, she was in theater arts, I believe she was in band as well. He did ROTC, he did like a bunch of the like color guard in ROTC, the armed guard, the unarmed guard. Like he was very involved in a lot of different aspects, but he was also the kid that would like give you the shirt off his back type thing. Like,
Fuck, do you take two people out of the world like that?
Yeah. And they were kids. They were seniors. I was a junior.
They were putting their best foot forward to put
they were like
themselves
2 months away from graduating high school.
That sucks.
I think it was like right after high school. There was a girl named Annie, who I think she went out to like California or something, and she drowned. And that was the first time like somebody that wasn't directly connected to me was like an acquaintance.
Right.
But I remember like she had the best energy. She was the sweetest person, and then I'm like, why is she dead? Like that's crazy.
And that's how it was with them too. It was just like they were like all A students, you know what I mean? Like they were like those good kids that you always this kid drowned or saved a kid from drowning in the water type thing, you know, like local hero, and something like that happened. But that really put it into perspective for me. And then I think that somewhere during me being in the military and the years following after and seeing how many people that I was served in the military with that passed away, I think that kind of, I don't want to say hardened me, but it was kind of more evident that lives are not that valuable. Like lives are never, you really can't take life for granted. Like you can't sit here and be like, oh, I'm going to see him again tomorrow. Like we worked, like you literally never know when someone's going to go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I even in my previous relationship towards the end, I think one of the factors that probably definitely pushed the end was probably a death. She had a death in the family, and I was kind of like, it was a situation where the entire time we were together, which it was a long time, this person of her family was old. Like when I see people at like that age, I've already mentally like
you expect it.
I
prepared myself like this is going to happen, and when it doesn't, you're like, I'm shocked that this hasn't happened. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that she wasn't full of life and stuff like that, but you're just like, man, you're already like old, and like, you know what I mean? So when she finally passed, I was like, good for her. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was her, and it wasn't
not
my
like
family
in a sarcastic way, but just like now she can finally be at peace.
It wasn't my family, and I was not sensitive to it, but also like I can't control how I feel in these situations, and maybe I wasn't as sensitive as I could be. Even like when I knew my dog was dying, or like when my dog's getting old, I make jokes of like, you're gonna be dead soon. Like I'm not trying to be insensitive, but like that's me of like kind of preparing myself. But when death happens and it's like a young person like you guys just described, that fucks with me. But like I take animal deaths bad.
They're hard.
I suck with animal deaths. Maybe because maybe it's just a superior complex of a human rather than an animal. But I feel like they just don't understand that, like, why.
What's happening?
Yeah. And I think that fucks with me more than just like because a human's like, all right, I think it's
coming.
I know it's coming. You know what I mean? Like, does an animal have that mental conscience of like, I'm at the end of my road? Like,
I think to a certain degree they do. Like there are cats and animals that'll like run away towards the end because they know their time is up. They're like, okay,
I think people watch so many Disney movies and they think,
no, I do. Being in that situation, man, because like I've taken a couple pets to the vet and they're like, hey, yeah, we should put them down. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And they would end up dying, you know, maybe in my arms or in the house. And I'm just like, in those moments, you can tell that they kind of know, I think, based on how they're feeling. Mm-hmm. But then they also just like, they go right into the classic love mode, man. They know where they want to be. They know where they need to be. Sometimes they run away to die. Like, I think they know. Yeah. I think it's very instinctual. But you also mentioned about your past relationship and that, like, how your feelings may have been perceived as, like, insensitive. Right? Mm-hmm. So, announcement, I am no longer in a relationship.
Did they die?
No. Oh. But,
sorry.
But Jackie did die.
Yeah.
So, here's what happened. They told me, like, right before Jackie died, that, hey, like, when this happens, I don't think I'm going to be able to go to the funeral. Like, I don't do death. I was like, cool, understood, you know, whatever. So they don't do death. I respect that. So when Jackie passed, they checked in and they were like, hey, like, by the way, like, I don't really do death. You know, I'm going to give you your space to deal with that. Cool, respect it. Thanks for letting me know. So then week and a half goes by. I'm not necessarily checking in a lot. I'm not, you know, I'm grieving.
Yeah, you're going through your steps.
So then about 2 weeks out, I get a message like this voice message at midnight that's just like, hey, like, I thought that when your grandmother passed, it'd be something that brought us closer, and like, that maybe you would lean on me for that. I'm like,
but you
why?
said you didn't want to be.
Exactly. So like, why would I lean on you for that if you literally told me I couldn't lean on you for that? So I'm respecting your wishes, and now you're contradicting not only that, but you're contradicting the, hey, I'm going to give you space to, deal with that respectfully. Now you're creating more drama when I can't handle any more drama.
Yeah.
I'm handling the grieving. I'm handling the final whatever arrangements and finances and all that. And now you want me to worry about a relationship. So at some point during that message, she goes, I think maybe I'll take a step back. I was like, cool, take your step back. We can be done with this. Enjoy your life.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it. She tried to call me the next day, and I was like, cool, we're not doing changing our minds type thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel actually offended by the fact that you would do that to me. So I think there's something to being like respectfully considerate while also not being a death person.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Right.
Totally. Well, most of us don't think about death until it becomes personal, then suddenly it changes everything. I think you kind of touched upon it, but if you have another story you'd like to share, we're going to kind of go into part 2, where your first loss that actually changed you or your outlook or how you go about doing things. And this is where the stories really come out. You can talk about your first major loss, what you remember about it, how old were you, what you learned. We all kind of gave our own little aspects of that, but if you want to dive into more how that how it changed you, if you want to go more to an older aspect and say, were you prepared? Did it teach? Did anyone teach you how to grieve at those moments? Did adults handle it well when you were in those situations, or did they avoid it totally?
I have a question. I don't, only because I don't know what you have planned here, but are you going to have a specific part about different ways of grieving?
Yeah, there's going to be a grieving topic, yeah.
Or like how,
so this one, just the one,
culturally
this
or
one's,
whatever?
I guess, more lean on to like, when this, like, so for example, when my grandfather passed away, like, was I prepared? No, I had no idea. Did anyone teach me about grief or anything? No. No
Right.
disrespect
so
to
you're
my
talking
family.
like your first time.
They were just kind of like, hey,
experiencing it.
Pop-Up's not going to be around anymore. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they didn't. No one actually sat me down and explained what death was. Like, hey, they're just not going to be around anymore. They're going to go to a special place. Like, I mean, I got maybe that just talk, but like, I think a lot of times, especially in like the older generations to the newer generations, I feel like adults kind of like, once again, they get a little selfish, and they don't. I don't know if they relatively put their, like, I think they do about the thing where they avoid it with the kids and let them figure that out on their own, and then they deal with grieving.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I talked to Paige recently, and she said that her mom would just, we're not going to the funeral, or the kids aren't going. We're not letting them experience that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, that's different. But also, some parents kind of handle it like, oh, Santa Claus is a real thing, or like, oh, you're going to a happy place, and like, it's
Is that healthy? Do you think that's healthy for kids?
No, I don't think it is. I think kids can handle a lot more than we give them credit for.
I think no disrespect to like Paige, but I think my family is definitely guilty of this, or other families of just like, maybe just sit down, talk to a fucking kid. Like, hey, like, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like, they're gone. We'll talk more about it as you get older, or if you ever want to have this conversation, the door's open. But it kind of always felt to me as like that door was always shut, and we're never going to talk about it.
I ever got even the option of a conversation about it.
Well, I'm saying like,
I think
how the next generation, or how if you're listening to this now, maybe don't do that with younger
right.
kids.
And don't have the church explain death to your kids, because that's basically what
Oh my
happened with
God.
me. I learned about the 7 sacraments, and one of the sacraments is your last rites, and that was basically how I found about like, or the belief at that point, being in a Catholic household, that like once you died, this is what happens, and then you go to heaven. And like, but other than like, Mr. Rogers wasn't telling me what was happening. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, you know what? I'll go to pop culture. There's a movie that taught me about grief. All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh my God,
You're
get
not
outta
wrong.
here.
I'll give you that.
Yo,
I'll give you that.
as an adult,
I'll
I
give you that.
still can't watch that
Completely
movie.
breaking your
But I
heart.
think that
Yeah.
breaks your heart even more now, knowing the backstory.
And the
as
Fox
well.
and the Hound.
The Fox and the Hound, Copper. Oh man, don't
Fuck
get that was
me
one of my
up.
favorite movies growing up
Yeah.
too.
I learned more
But-
about death in movies than
Okay.
I did from an adult.
In that
Right.
case, we have to speak obviously Mufasa.
We will go. We'll
Hold on.
we'll do more pop
Sorry.
culture later.
Thomas
But,
J can't see without his glasses.
oh my girl.
Right?
Ugh.
I know.
Right.
I know.
But what's do you have a first memory of like, oh, should I have to figure grief out or do things, or like, because you maybe didn't have that support? We all kind of agree we didn't have that support.
I would say no, I didn't have that, but also this isn't one that I've talked about. I don't think I've really ever publicly talked about this, but I grew up in a military family, so although I did live in Texas for most of my childhood, it was all over Texas. We moved frequently. But in 8th grade, I was friends with like 3 girls and this one guy. And then in 9th grade, I moved like 2 weeks before 9th grade started. And right after I moved, I get a phone call from one of my friends saying, our friend killed himself. And I'm like, we're 13 at the time. And it was like, do I tell my mom? Like, I want to tell my mom because I want to go down to the funeral, but we just moved 5 hours away. So I don't think my mom's going to do that. And also, like, he was, I think, my first atheist friend. Like, that was just very much like his family didn't believe in, like, we live in the Bible Belt of the Bible Belt, you know what I mean? Sure. And it was like the first group of people that I really knew that weren't religious, and my mom didn't really approve of them either. So I feel like that was the first one that really hit me, that I was like, I'm on my own with this, and I gotta just figure this out. Like, none of my friends at school now even know who I'm talking about. Like, they don't even know who I am, and like, I can't go to my mom about this. I can't get back down there and talk to my other friends about this. I'm only allowed to be on the phone for like 20 minutes a week. We don't have minutes for that. So it was like literally just
Figure it out.
Go listen to some sad music. That was, I actually do believe he was the one who introduced me to Blink-182. So I feel like I was listening to a lot of Burn CDs at the time, and that was kind of, I think that's really where I found music helping me with grief.
Yeah, I grieve really quickly. Like, I'll pretend it's not a thing for like the day and a half, and then I'll have a day where it's like, all right, now's my time. Now I guess I kind of block everything out, make sure everyone else around me is good. Then I grieve in my own privacy, and it's maybe for a day or two, and then I'm just like, all right, status quo, go back to, there's nothing we can do about it at this point. Like, I'll do my best to keep the memory alive, be positive, and just keep moving forward.
I'm very much the same way now. It'll hit me in moments. Those moments might last 5 minutes. I'll let myself cry. I'll end that. And then I'm just back on track. I used to get to a point where, like, oh, somebody died, extreme full body, like I could feel the sadness,
Yeah.
you know? And that would just be this elongated thing with animals, with humans. And now it's just like, all right, well, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
That's sad. I can feel it.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, it sucks because, like, you know, am I strong or am I broken? That's the question I have to ask myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I know that there's a strength and there's whatever I'm going through right now. And my biggest fear is that it's going to hit me. It still hasn't.
Yeah.
You know? But are you still talking about that last thing? Because I got something for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my first experience where, like, grief actually hit me was, I think it was 2012, yeah. I was at work, and I get a phone call from my brother. And I'm, like, teaching, doing a therapy session. And my brother says, hey, Randy died. Randy was like one of my best friends at that time, and was the godfather to his daughters. And that was the full body, hit me in the moment. I don't know how I'm going to drive home, but like, I just looked at my boss. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta leave. Yeah, I leave. I go to my brother's house, my house. Picked up my brother. And then we drove to his mom's house because I'm like, this isn't real. There's no way this is real. And until I walked into mom's house and she saw me, I saw her, and we just both broke. Then at the funeral, thankfully my best friend Steve, since like 8th grade, was there. He was also friends with him. He was there sitting with me. My aunt was there. Jared was there. And I was okay. It was a closed casket because what happened is he was on his way to work in the morning, and his foot got stuck in a railroad crossing, and he got by the train. There was speculation at the time that maybe, he was going through something and did that on purpose, but there was, I guess, video footage that it was an accident. And so there were moments where it like hit me at the funeral where I just like, man, I can't believe I'm crying in front of people like this. But then I was also one of the pallbearers. So once we put the coffin into place and they started lowering it, that moment, like, I broke. Like, I'm on the ground crying in front of everybody. And I'm like, embarrassed, but also just like, this is a very visceral and natural reaction.
Yeah.
And I cannot control it. Now, like, I feel like I have a lot more control because of those experiences.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, no one really ever teaches us how to really grieve or go with that process. So I think we all kind of agree that that's where we're at. But
yeah,
and this is why we are as beautifully broken as we are.
Yeah.
We learn our own ways.
Yeah.
We're all a little bit different. We're a little bit the same. But we're probably different than we were when we first experienced.
Yeah. We'll jump into part 3 here. What grief actually feels like. I can't really dive too much into this because I generally it says here sadness, anger, numbness, guilt, regret, and relief in some situations. I definitely feel the relief probably more than anything.
This is gonna sound,
but jealousy.
No.
That's fucked up for me to say, but like that's where I kind of go. I'm like, man.
I think
fuck.
Grief to me is an overwhelming sense of emptiness. Of like, you could make plans to go do something with this person, but that's never going to happen again. Like, you're never going to have that emotion with them. You're never going to have an experience with them. Like, to me, it's just they're gone now, and there's a sense of emptiness that isn't going to be able to get replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah, the emptiness. There's regret. You're going to regret moments or not having certain moments, not saying certain things. Even just not accepting the full reality or understanding it. I know, like, a week after Jackie passed, I walked in the door. I'm just like, where's Jackie?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah. That's weird, and then it hits you for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's all of those things in different degrees. It really is.
Yeah. Like I said, I can't really dive too much into this. Like, but people think that grief has rules. It doesn't. It could be messy. It could be hard. But definitely, I don't know. At least for me, is communication. I think communication, talking, getting your feelings out. Even if you just find someone though who's gonna just shut the fuck up and listen. Don't come to someone like me.
Write a journal.
Right?
Write a journal.
Podcast about it. That's what I fucking do. That's how I get through all my feelings now. Is I do these topic-based podcasts, and I feel great about it afterwards.
I think a benefit for any relationship is to have a person that will just shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah, I literally, anytime, even in my Discord community, I've had people come up to me like, hey, I'm going through it, can we talk? And I'm just like, I'm going to be honest, I'll listen, but I can't give you any advice because I handle death so much more differently than everybody. Like, I use jokes and dark humor to fucking...
Me too.
And some people think it's inappropriate. Like, so we... Can I tell them my dark humor to you in text? So when I said I was going to do this topic, Alex is like, well, I'd like to join you on this. Obviously, I had some recent stuff, and he's like, man, I'm really experiencing it hard going through the final preparations and, getting Jackie back and having her ashes. And I was like, is Jackie joining us on the podcast? And she's like, that's fucked up. I'm like, he'll appreciate that.
Yeah. I thought about it.
Hi, Kat.
That's awesome.
Is this what we're doing? You're just going to...
Man.
Hold on to your camera.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I put myself in this position where I have to make sure everybody else is okay. So one of the things that I like, even just day one after it happens, I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, I'm accepting this, and I'll grieve eventually. But you guys are grieving harder than me, like Jared and Rhonda. Because you guys are grieving so hard, I can't do that, because now I got to find a way to make you feel better. Because I don't know, I'm a broken person. I need to make people feel good. So with Rhonda, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard because we have a very weird connection, which is a lack of connection. But with Jared, I just treat him like shit, or I make like really bad jokes. He said something to me that day, and I was like, dude, my grandmother just died, you dick. He's just like, all right, that's what he needed. He just needed to laugh at something like extreme.
Can we talk to Jared's story real quick?
Oh shit, that is death.
That is
listen,
death.
I am trying to get him to come on a podcast and talk to you
Bro,
about that eventually.
that moment in time for me is crucial.
Yeah.
And I think it's crucial for our friendship because we're both similar in how we deal with grief. And I felt like I was like, I need to be there for you. And then you were like, I don't want to say stone cold, like didn't care, but you also were in a mind state where like he's at a point where this is I'm mentally
So do you
preparing.
want to tell the whole story now?
But that is exactly how I am. That's how I was with Jackie. Like I walked in there, she had just passed like an hour before I got home, and I am like, I'm sad, but immediately I'm like, find a way to accept this. Like just get through it because you got shit to do.
Yeah.
And that's where we were. We had shit to do, and then everybody else around me is starting to like make me feel like I should be grieving harder in that moment. Like you guys are like, stop the show, and I'm like, keep the show going.
It's the last match.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna
you
he
can
wasn't
tell.
that cold about it. So, Jared, I don't want to put too much.
No, tell the whole
all right,
story.
so
if you want, man.
Jared, in his younger days, he had some legal problems and he was caught up
Yeah,
with drugs
he
and
had
alcohol
addiction
and
issues, yeah.
addiction issues, and he tried to rob a convenience store. And an undercover cop just happened to be the guy behind him in line.
Yeah.
And when Jared pulled out his fake weapon, this guy had a real one, and Jared went to jail for a long time. Came out, and then immediately kind of reverted back into the world and wasn't doing very well. Like he was doing great for a while.
For a little bit, yeah.
And then he kind of reverted back. And I think there was situations even that day where normally every show, either he came and then he stopped coming because that was his way of no one's going to be home. I can go do my thing.
Well, it was like because he had come out of jail and then he got a girlfriend.
That's what it was.
He'd show up to the show and he's like, because initially he got out of jail. He's like, yeah, dude, that's awesome. You do this. I want to support you. And as soon as he came home, either he hit the drugs or he hit the girlfriend, and it's just like, I don't care. I don't want to be there. Fuck you.
Yeah.
He just like his whole personality changes. Like right now, I love my brother. I want to be around my brother.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
I very
mostly
much bonded
sober.
with him in that short time when he was like fresh home and he was positive and he was really looking for a change. And I love the guy. I love Jared to death.
That's who he is right now.
Yeah, I love that. I'm very proud of him. And I just remember like we were at the show and Rhonda didn't come, and Rhonda was pissed because she wanted to be there and because like she takes it seriously. She wants to be there. And I remember like I'm over the moon because now I am like officially the lead commentator of Camp
Yeah,
Leave.
you and BP killed it.
Like I'm like, oh my god, this is what I've wanted from the beginning, even though I didn't know I wanted this, but like I can finally fly that flag and I need to step up and show that I can do this and and we're doing it in a historic venue of Cheeseburger's School, which is the old ROH dojo where like Danielson and Punk, and I'm not even gonna go through all the like the greatest of the greats of what we watch now came through that building and those four walls and that hollowed ground, and the main event's about to happen, and your phone rings, and I look over, and you're just like, you just look me dead in my face. You're like, Jared's dead, and I was just like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, he overdosed, Jackie. Like they're literally giving him CPR. He's blue. He's dead on the flag. And I was just like, hey, Chris, we need to stop. Can we like take 15? He's like, yeah. And we didn't tell anybody why, but like all the production just went in the hallway, and he just like. I'm trying to hug him.
It was me, you, Chris, and Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to hug him like, yo, man, are you good? Andrew was like the same way, but
he's also very weird about death.
He was very reserved, and Chris is kind of like I don't want to say Chris did anything wrong, but he was kind of like,
show's got to go on.
Are
you okay?
He's like, are you okay? And you're like, yeah. And then he looked at me and goes, if you can't do the main event, I'll get somebody else on commentary. And I was like, well, there's no fucking shot. I'm not doing commentary here. This means a lot to me. Like, this is the Outfielders versus Sonny and Defarge. Like, this is like, I'm so excited for this storyline. I'm gonna be in that call.
Crumbles and Defarge, by the way. I do that too. I do that all the time.
Did I say Sonny and Defarge?
Yeah,
Crumbles and Defarge.
Crumbles.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's your fault, Jared. And we do the match. I don't remember any of it. I completely disassociated. And then literally the bell rings. We wrap. Everything happens. His phone rings. I'm like, Jared's alive. They came. They Narcaned him. He's alive. He's well. He's going to be fine. And it was just like, for fucking 18 minutes, or however that long that match, it felt like a half hour, but as long as that match went down, I called a match where my best friend next to me's brother just overdosed and died.
And I'm switching the motherfucker.
And we're in full production wrestling mode. and neither one of us, not saying we're not no selling it, because I mean we're definitely, he's on our minds. We're like, holy fuck, like how's this family gonna, what are we gonna do, like we're literally like trying to mask it so everyone else, the production, can go on and we do. We're all definitely like, he's in our thoughts, and then it just like was like, oh no, everything that you just felt you can erase now. And I was like, how the fuck do you do that?
It's been years. You still can't let it go.
Dude, because it was such an emotional...
That's a roller coaster.
If
ever there was an emotional roller coaster.
I don't feel feelings or emotions.
Right,
I felt
it that
everything
day.
that day.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, oh my God. I still look at him like, you fucking prick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say, man, like, it's... And that, I mean, addiction too, like... Even that situation is not enough for someone to be like, I should quit this. You know what I mean?
Which is insane.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you died in front of your family.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yo, the addiction is that strong. It's not something he chooses to do. Like, it's just, that's when you have a problem. It's scary. But Jared, I love you to death. I don't ever bring this up to put shame on you or make you feel lesser than. It's just generally like...
You fucked him up.
I fucking love you, bro. I care so much about you.
It's the trauma.
And that it's a moment in my life that I just like, it was impactful. It was a death that wasn't a death, if that makes sense.
Luckily, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for him.
That's probably the most grief I ever felt in my life. But I still had to fight through the grief to get the show done.
Right.
It was and then we went to fucking Applebee's somehow.
Oh man, I still think about that Applebee's trip probably more than the death thing.
I just remember making jokes like, what the fuck are we doing? So let's get into, let me just go through my notes here. Part 4, because we are getting a little long here.
Yeah,
Healing. Is everyone's camera batteries good up in the corners?
76%.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Healing after
I'm
a
at
loss.
99.
So let's talk about how healing actually works for us. What helped? Was it friends, family, time, hobbies, work, creativity, pop culture? But don't go too much in the pop culture because we have a whole pop culture section. And what didn't help in the grieving process? Do we ever fully heal, or do we simply learn how to carry it differently? I'll start with you, Lily.
You said a lot really quickly, but yeah, I think that something that helped me a lot with grief, that's always helped me with grief, I think that, so my first personal person that passed away, not in the family, was when I was 13. And I had just moved to San Antonio. This is where emo like first started. Like, I got my first South by Southwest album mixtaped for me with freaking like Fall Out Boy before they even had their EP on it. Like, just crazy stuff. Anyway, but I think music really helped me with that, but also I got really, really into literature at that point. So it was like I was all about Edgar Allan Poe became my favorite. Like, that was my little alter ego, was trying to find the beauty in the sadness, because my family was not going to help me find it. The people that had helped me to that point, now I'm going into a new city, which Corpus Christi, although people do know Selena's from there, it's not a very big town. It's a town. It is not a city. It is not a metropolitan area. But moving from there to San Antonio, it was huge. And going from being middle class in Corpus Christi to being middle class in a designer school in the rich part of school of San Antonio was like already a culture shock. But then going into grief on top of that, I wasn't even worried about finding my people. I was worried about how am I going to just keep going? Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in a new school. I don't want to have like learn all this new stuff and new people and all of that stuff and everything else. But I think that music really helped a lot with that. Poetry. I started writing poetry. I got into a creative writing class. Like, that was kind of another outlet for me. I think that's kind of, I don't want to say artistically, but I do think that is kind of where I started artistically, was with poetry. But there was something else you had said in there.
Oh, what didn't help with grieving?
What didn't help? I have no bickers against people who follow their religion devoutly. I think that if it's something that you truly believe in, that you think is truly good for you, do it. But don't force it down other people's throats. That's always kind of been my philosophy on it. I believe in a bunch of different things, but I will talk to you about it, but I will not try to convince you to believe what I believe. Mm-hmm. And I think that whenever I was trying to open up to my family, my youngest aunt is only 10 years older than me. And I opened up to her. We were talking about like the real world and stuff. And that was the the first time I had seen someone self-mutilate themselves. And I was talking to my aunt about it, and I had told her that I had attempted to do some of those things, and I understand that she was looking out for me, but it got turned into, we're going to turn Christianity up to 1,500 now.
Yeah.
You're going to go to Bible school on Sundays and worship class on Wednesdays and Bible study on Thursdays. You're going to be part of this after school activity and this and this. And it was like, I just want to talk about my friend. Like, I just want to talk about my feelings. I want to be sad and it be okay for me to be sad.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, a big thing was like, oh no, you're a kid. You should be happy. You don't need to think about those things. Like, that's not what Jesus would want for you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that was a really big, I think that's the most that I think was more harmful to me than it was helpful to me was, we'll just lean on God. And it was like, well, I want to lean on you, my family. I want to lean on you, my mom. I want to lean on you, my grandfather. And kind of being told, like, you're too young for that. Don't worry about it. That's not something that you should worry about. Or being told, like, that's the devil trying to play tricks on you and trying to get you to be sad all the time isn't something that, like,
That's
and
so
that
crazy.
like,
When I hear it's the devil, I'm like, you're a fucking, get the fuck away from me. I just
the
watched a
devil.
TikTok the other day. Oh my God. I think I was, you were next to me and I was like, fuck you. This lady, they're doing like a paranormal podcast and you're like, do you know why they call it spirits? Alcohol, spirits. It's because when you drink it, it lowers your inhibition, and then spirits enter your body, and then they make you do things. I'm like, no. When you drink spirits, you fucking dehydrate your brain, and then you poison yourself and make bad decisions because you're drunk. Like, hiding behind
There
the
are no demons here.
hiding behind the paranormal and the spirituality because of drug abuse. Like shut the fuck. Like, science has already proven that shit bullshit. Like, shut the fuck. Another thing too
but
is
Scientology is against God, and we can't talk about science.
when people also use religion, like, listen, there's people who have passed away that I don't like, right? But like, none of those people who I don't like for my personal reasons or what they did to me does not mean they were not good people to the other people around us. And there are truly monsters in this world, and those people, in my opinion, are not those monsters. Maybe just we didn't vibe, or whatever reason they didn't like me, or whatever it may be. I don't know. I don't really care. But I think when people use their religion to also judge after someone's already gone and be like,
100%.
I hate that too.
I think that was the biggest one for me, was because when Jeremy passed away, he killed himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, trying to come to my mom and say, oh, remember this boy that you didn't like back in Portland? Well, he's dead now. Well, how is he dead? He took a lot of pills and then he didn't wake up. Oh, so, well, he's not going to heaven. Like,
Yeah,
and
that-
just being told, like,
That's not what a kid needs.
what?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
but-
Like, he was still a good person,
That
you
doesn't help
know?
my career. Yeah.
I like how you said that, though, that all you wanted was to lean on them and to understand, right? And I think processing that and having those conversations, and, you know, when people come to me for advice, I don't really tell them an opinion. I ask them questions so that they can self-discover. And I think that is how you should approach your children, is like, answer their questions. Let them figure it out. They will figure it out.
But also let them ask questions. Don't
Yeah.
be like, well, you're too young for this.
Yeah,
if
don't
they're
dismiss
asking the
it and
question, they're
don't-
not too young.
Don't answer it with, like, religion.
Yeah.
You know, because that's not that it's not an answer, it's not the answer.
Or not even necessarily religion, but your beliefs. Because, like, your beliefs aren't necessarily what's fact. That might be what you believe in. But,
Yeah.
like, to say your grandfather's not coming home anymore versus saying, well, he's gone to heaven. Like, there's a fact there, and there's one that's maybe what you would like to believe.
There may be a little burn there. I just noticed. Not bad about
That's
that.
what it is.
Sorry. Death to the tablecloth. How about you when it comes to
What was the question?
the healing after
What
loss?
helped and what didn't help?
Yeah. Did you lean on family, friends, hobbies, work, creativity?
Man, I push through, and I think that's an important thing too, is to allow yourself to feel your feelings so you can understand your feelings and why you're feeling them. Music helps. Like you said about poetry, that when I have extreme emotions, writing poetry helps me. I get it out there. I've posted a couple over the years when I was really upset or angry.
You had a good one when the all the leapfrog and then the stuff with oh my God, I'm gonna fucking
Was it Jared related or
no, it was there was a little bit of everything. It was Jared, it was I don't want to fucking say it because it's gonna start a whole fucking shitstorm again. It was like penguin related.
Oh yeah, I might have.
It just came up in the memories not too long ago.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You
Like
it was,
maybe like
it was
2 weeks
essentially
ago.
like the ending of your friendship at that point in time. The things that were going on at Camp Leapfrog and like the other situation in wrestling that happened. Like it was kind of like an accumulation of like all of that in a poetry that you wrote because it was like
a big it was like it was like a longer thing you had written, and I was like,
that's crazy. I'll have to find that because like that is kind of my process. Like I throw it all into something I write.
It was beautiful,
and then I release it.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, I don't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a
creativity.
A big part of yes, I throw it in there.
I'm learning more with the podcast. Is like before when I was doing the content for years, it was just like I'm going to talk about movies and music and paranormal and maybe sneak some stuff in there for my creativity. But honestly, man, like I know I'm only 6 episodes in, but I love these topic based. I love how it's so open ended and I could talk about anything I want and just go through it. And people seem to be enjoying it, which is fun. So definitely I lean on the creativity. What doesn't help, I don't know. It's hard. I really have a hard time with that.
Us doing a podcast together may have gotten me some future lady bits.
Oh yeah? Well, they listen to your episode. You're like, you're so deep.
So, I think we were talking about Jackie or something on I think our podcast, or I don't remember, but she commented on one of the videos and then she inboxed me, and then I looked at her like profile and it says she's a chubby chaser. I was like, yeah, I'm a fetish.
Hell yeah.
Go.
That's why I need a loser. I need a girl who's into being loser podcasts who fucking don't have directional life and just chasing their
I'm right
dreams.
here.
Is that your thing? You love it?
I'm not her fetish. I'm a convenience.
Aw,
That's
damn.
death of a relationship. Let's change the name of this podcast quick.
That's just me self fucking mutilating myself, I guess, dude. Or deprecating.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah. How death changed our outlook on life. This is where the episode we can get we can get pretty deep with this. So what matters less now? What matters more now after experiencing death? Time, relationship experience, purpose in life. What are some things that really stand strong for you when you realize that time is limited, and does it make my life more meaningful? For me, it was a young kid in our area named Brian Setcavage. He was literally like a human being who can like change your attitude with his smile. Like he would just look at you, smile, and you're like, yo, this kid is just always genuinely happy, looking for the best of people in life. He personally went through, I believe, both of his parents dying in a car accident when he was young, and he was raised by other people, and he just was always like a beacon. Like very, very talented baseball player. He was just good at sports, but like wasn't in the jock crowd. He kind of like, he was literally the kid who could fit in with everybody. And literally the like, there was like graduation weekend. He just graduated. They all went to a party. He got into a car with people who were drinking, and everyone in that car should have died. He's the only one that didn't.
Oh wow.
There's some paranormal aspects to that story too, where people in the car were like, yo, the one guy told the first responder like, hey, Set came and talked to me and said that he's going to go get help, because they wrecked so far into the woods that like it's a miracle even someone's seen the car to stop and help them.
Oh man, it's a big fear of mine.
And it was like, and I'm not passing blame, I'm not casting any judgment on anyone who was driving or that was in that car, because listen, it was a long time ago, and you paid your dues and went through all of that, and I'm not here to judge you or anything like that. I'm glad all of you are still around, but he was one that I was just like, I'm gonna be careful when I get behind the vehicle or get who I get into a car with or anything like that, and just also be like man, that was the first one as a young person. I was like, man, if anyone should have went, like it shouldn't have been him. Like out of everybody, like I don't even think he was drunk. He was the only sober one in the car, and everybody else was drunk. And I was like, that one hit hard. Was that kid? Like, and we weren't even like super best friends. We played basketball every now and then, and everything like that. But it was just like that one for me was just like life is short. You got to keep moving. And then there was a kid I played soccer with. He was actually a couple years younger than us, and he was so good that like I remember us being like, we should move him up to the older team and he would be a good asset to our team, and we moved him up to play with us, and he was awesome. He was a great kid, and he donated his time going back to soccer and coaching and reffing and giving back to the organization. And then he was at college, and he ended up getting like spinal meningitis and passed away from it. and I ended up coaching his little brother who looked just like him. And I remember they're like, "Why did you come back and coach?" And I looked at him like, "You want the truth?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Your brother. I read your brother's obituary, and your brother gave his life, like his time while he was not at college, back here to be down at this field and help the next generation of kids who play in this sport and loving soccer and wanting to be this." And I was like, "That's exactly why I became a coach for 8 years." And I was just like, so there are two big ones where I looked at the thing and I'm like, I can use someone's death and try to make a change or a thing like that. And then even the podcast, I lost some people in my life, and I was just like, I want to interview my gram. And I want to get her story because she's my only last grandparent, and I want to get those stories, and I want to sit down with people and talk to people, and just even if it's a moment of that time, because I think like my podcast, you can go back and be like, yo, 10 years ago, man, I was in a different place. That was fun. I'm glad that's recorded. Like, I wanted to always give people that luxury of being on an episode of being like, I was really proud of that, you know, of where I was then and where I'm at now. And I think that's really cool. And
that's what I really loved about that first brand, man.
Yeah. And I'm very happy that is something I was able to do. And I honestly use death and the loss of people to kind of create and use creativity and recording so I can have conversations that people can go back and listen to, and they're kind of always timeless. Yeah. All right. Did everyone kind of answer that one with creativity? And you said you lean into music. All right. We'll get into the big one here. I think this is the one we're going to talk about the most. But death in pop culture. Mm-hmm. This section is perfect for all of us.
Well, I'm out.
You shut the hell up. You literally, your first thing's Selena. Your first death was pop culture.
Okay, sorry. Fair. I thought you meant specifically movies, and I'm like, I don't watch horror movies.
No, but it could be people within movies, television, like pop culture icons who passed away.
Culture. My brain just went movies. Sorry.
Horror movies. Did death help you cope by watching horror? Do you look at death in horror movies differently, or are you desensitized and you kind of know to put the two to the side? And I'll kind of add a little wrestling one in later after we go through the main pop culture. But
I'm probably going to hit that one.
The wrestling?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're talking about the same thing, but it's my most prevalent answer.
Yeah. Is pop culture, is there any celebrity deaths that besides the Selena one that really affected you?
Betty White. I cried for 3 days. I cried so hard when Betty White died.
I get it, but she's like 99. You know what I mean? Like, that's another one.
She was literally so close to being 100.
Mel Brooks is about to hit 100.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He just hit 100. That's
exactly
what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
I was so happy that he hit 100. I was like, thank God he didn't die. I'm so
funny
happy
people
he
live
made
longer.
Well,
I'm not always.
I hope he lives to see
I don't know if that's
Spaceballs 2
true.
release. That's my hope.
Yeah. Any Betty White? Is any other ones that stand out?
I'll get back to you because I feel like there are a few that have really gotten to me, but at the same time, it's like they're so obscure that I doubt.
Michael, was that a big one for you? Didn't care.
My mom was really obsessed with Michael, but honestly, like Prince was, my mom was really into Prince and Michael Jackson, but I was never really like, I was like, yeah, like he's got a couple bops there or whatever, but I was never really like super into Michael, but I really loved Prince.
Okay. Anyone within
Patrick Swayze.
Yes.
I was in fun fact.
Great documentary on him on HBO, by the way. Great documentary.
I did not find out I was lactose intolerant until I was in the military, and I had, those water soluble eggs every morning, and I would just get really, really sick. But I was sick for like 3 weeks, like my first 3 weeks of basic training, and they sent me to the hospital to go get my stomach checked and do the dye and all of that shit. And I'm in the waiting room, and there it is flashing across the TV. Patrick Swayze died, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no! And I go back and I tell everyone, and nobody, like, there was like 40 girls on my flight, and they're like, he's too young, and I'm like, he's dead, guys. He's dead.
That documentary.
He died of pancreatic cancer, I believe.
Yeah, he looked really, really thin and
emaciated. Yeah.
He was the first. I watched the documentary of him. He was one of the first like masculine macho guys to be like, you could also be a great sports guy and also do ballet and also
be a drag queen
but also I can get on Barbara Walters and cry on camera in front of everybody. Like, he was the first one to really, as a man, show emotion on television, even before he was even sick or knew he was dying.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, dude, great documentary if you want to watch that. Patrick Swayze is a great one. What about you with movies, TVs? You can do a little one of each category.
Well, so not really movies, but actors that really hit me. Chadwick Boseman. I was devastated when he passed. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's such a
He was so
good
young,
person.
too.
But then also, like, his movies were usually about pretty influential people.
Him dying as a human didn't hit me as much of him dying as a
it.
human of not being Black Panther again fucked me up. And I know that sounds fucked up, but
Right.
I associate with him.
Right.
Like, I see him as the superhero Black
That's
Panther.
him. That's
I
Black
didn't
Panther.
lose.
Right.
I never seen him in Jackie
As not.
Robinson. I'd never seen, like,
Oh, man.
my introduction to him as a person was Black Panther. And I've always wanted to see Black Panther on film.
Yeah.
And then got the first movie, and I was like, this movie's fucking beautiful.
My love for him goes, like, deep enough to where my first podcast ever, I mentioned that, like, I would fan cast him in any role.
Yeah.
Like,
But,
I wanted him to be the
we
lead,
lost
dude.
Black Panther. Like, and the way
Yeah.
they did that in the movie,
Oh, it was beautiful.
oh,
Yeah, good for
fucked
them.
me up. Yeah.
He deserved the tribute, man. I love that.
Yeah. Who else? I'm sorry.
Okay, so the big one that I can still cry about today. I remember I had just seen this person the week prior in real life, and I come up from the basement to watch this show that comes on every Thursday at that time, and immediately, like, Rhonda's like, Eddie Guerrero's dead, and I lost it. She lost it. We're crying, and to this day, like, we'll cry about Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Like,
And what makes that fucked up is he did the fake heart attack bit on TV. Like, he did a fake "I'm having a heart attack" spot on, and then when he actually died of it, people were like, "Shut the fuck up."
Whatever.
yeah. But it was like in a hotel.
Owen
room.
Hart fucked me up. When
Oh, see, I didn't expect that one, but yeah.
when Owen died,
Yeah.
I remember going to school, and I remember someone goes, "Ding dong, the nugget's gone," and I was like, "He's really dead, you fuckface."
Yeah, that's messed up. Like, that was like one of those, like, faces of death style. Like,
Yeah, in front of a live fucking
yeah.
crowd. That one's fucked me up in wrestling. For movies, I always say if I can bring two people back, fucking John Candy. And that one fucked me up as a kid because I was like, the Home Alone, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles,
Have you
Uncle
watched
Buck.
this documentary?
I did. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And Chris
I knew
Farley.
you were gonna say Chris
Farley fucked me up.
Really?
Like, when Chris Farley died, I was like, what?
Well, why?
Like, why him?
I feel that
because
but,
I
like,
wasn't a kid who knew
yeah.
about drug problems. I didn't
Okay.
see him as a drug. I seen him as a guy who was like,
He was just a funny guy.
he was comfortable with his body. He was comfortable. But
Right,
he wasn't.
right.
He wasn't comfortable at all.
No.
But he was able to make fun of himself and make it to where, like, he
taught
was
me,
a part of the joke.
He taught me how to be part of the joke that then other people were like, I used the Chris
Yeah.
Farley method
It's your
to make
shield.
fun of
Right.
myself so I didn't get beat up as much in
Yeah.
school.
Right.
Same. Yeah, I think we all learned that from him. Right?
Yeah, like he saved me from a lot of
Yeah.
ass whoopings because when someone's like, "Oh, you're poor and you have
Yeah.
greasy hair," I'm like, "Greasy hair!" Like, fucking, like, my hair would get so greasy that I would literally just run my hands through it and it would stick straight up.
Yeah, man.
And then people are like, "Oh, Will is fucking scumbag." And I'm like, "Whew, better than a punch in the face."
Yeah, I think, like, no matter how much you're in on the joke, like, you still hurt deep down
100%.
inside until you find out that you're a fetish, and then it's all over.
Yeah.
You're like, I love being.
Someone's gonna
fetish.
touch my bird. Yeah. Music. The Michael thing did not hit me.
I thought about one that hit me, but I feel like you're probably gonna say it.
Michael did not hit me because Michael was already kind of tarnished for me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember being a kid and
didn't
when
do
the
it.
accusations came out, and I was like, that was the first person I was like, I don't think he did.
You were 19 when the accusations came out.
I was when I was young. There was still accusations
I mean,
about him
fair,
too.
fair.
And I remember
When the big
sitting
trial went and
when I was
happened.
sitting with my aunt in a car, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I love his music, but I think as a person, I think he 100% did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always, to this day, I still feel that. I still think his music's genius. I still think he's a genius, but I think 100% he preyed on children. Sorry for Michael Jackson fans.
Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm on the opposite side of that, but that's not an argument we're gonna have.
Yeah, I think there's so much overwhelming stuff out there that he 100% did everything he did.
Or
Yeah.
possibly didn't. You know.
No.
Anyone else though who did affect you?
Chester.
Who did we just get a record of? Because I should have said her.
Amy.
Do you
Amy's
know what
death
bothered
didn't
me?
bother me. It bothered me after she died, and then I started listening to her music. I'm like, we lost a gem.
No, you know what bothered me with Amy? I was fully invested when Amy was big, and watching her on stage, the amount of times that she was completely out of it, and there was always someone to just stand her up in front of the microphone. No one helped Amy, and that's what really bothered me.
I didn't listen to her music, and I just remember her as a pop icon that people made fun of for her drug abuse and literally used her as the brunt of the joke and made fun of her. And they're like, and I was like, well, if she's a fucking joke, I'm not going to listen to her. And then she passed away, and I was scrolling on YouTube, and the fucking Valerie clip came up, and I listened to it, and I was like, holy
Wow. And
fuck,
we lost
her
that.
voice is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you can see her literally going through withdrawal and struggling, and like, and I
That what was so heartbreaking.
and I started listening to more of her. I'm like, she was a fucking queen.
So for me, that is Oliver Tree.
I didn't get into
Okay.
Oliver Tree till late, and I was
Yeah.
like, he's really fucking good.
I didn't know his music until he passed, but I knew him because of the Steve-O podcast. I was like, this guy's a douche. I thought he was such a
He's
douchebag.
such a good character.
but
He's,
he was-
he's Andy Kaufman.
Exactly, he is. So I loved him as a person, and then he passed away, and I started listening to the music. I'm like, this guy.
Philly Mike actually recommended his music to me, and I listened to it one
Yeah.
day at work, and I was like, he's really fucking good. I
Really
like his
good.
music.
Yeah, it's great.
Chester.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was supposed to go to see Blink-182 and Linkin Park. They were my first
The Lincoln Park in Hershey.
in Hershey.
Wow, 2017.
I had the tickets. It was a Friday night show. I believe it was a Wednesday or Thursday. He took his own life, and I was like,
So that didn't happen.
fuck, I never got to see it.
So
Oh, wow.
about a year prior to that, up here, I think he was going to be in Jersey, and he broke his leg, and they canceled the. I had the tickets to go see him, and they canceled the concert, and I was like he broke it like the night before or whatever, and I was like, can we just wheel him out? He doesn't need to kick anything, like, and I wanted to see him so bad, and I think it was like maybe 8 months later that he.
And
passed
then I had
away.
a Chester moment when I was in Vegas. When we kind of me and my ex went to Vegas for a week and or for a couple days or whatever it was, and we were on Fremont Street. Now Fremont Street's a giant light board, like a circular light board that goes down the entire street, like for 4 or 5 blocks, and they just play music videos or whatever's on the or like light shows or whatever's going on. It's being projected on this screen, and every now and then they would do like all the shop lights would dim, the entire street would dim, and they would like brighten up the screen. They would do like a show down, and it would be like a block long, so wherever you were standing you could watch it. And I remember the lights going dim, and everyone's like, oh, time to look up, they're going to do like a quick 20-30 minute show, and all you hear was the first piano chords, bum, 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 bum. And he's been dead now for years. Like, this is not like a fresh death. Maybe he was like 4 or 5 years dead at this point. And I just remember everyone just looking up and stop, like an entire street worth of people in Las Vegas, where it's like everything's around you visually, everything's around you, and everyone just was, those piano keys struck every single person on that block. And I was just like, fuck, man, he was so powerful. And like, he sang about his struggles, and we never really realized how deep those struggles were. And like, I would listen to it as someone who also struggled, and he like listened to his interviews, and he's like, this is a bad place to be. Like, this is a dangerous neighborhood for me. And then like him losing that battle or winning it, however you want to look at it. I don't want to be insensitive because I know he has a family and stuff, but like that one affected me. Losing Chester was big because that was super relatable. Of like, I felt like I was in the same struggle with him, with the bad thoughts. But yeah,
Leave out all the rest. I think after he passed away, like, I cannot listen to that song without bawling my eyes out.
yeah. Wrestling. A lot of my wrestlers that died, they died. Like Eddie, I was kind of out of wrestling, and it hurt, but I was like, Owen Hart sucked as a kid because that was like, I felt like that was like, to die in front of a live crowd is unbelievable.
It's a great-
Oh man, like when Mr. Perfect died, that sucked. When Piper died, that sucked.
I'm glad I got to see them.
I unfortunately never got to meet them.
Oh, dude, he flipped the towel and caught it right in front of me, dude.
Really?
Oh, it's so good. It was perfect.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. I actually did that the other day. Like when I was out yesterday, my buddy's son was flipping a bottle, and I grabbed it and flipped it. Like I literally grabbed
He
it, walked
just
by,
grabbed
flipped it.
like half-assed.
I had my Mr. Perfect moment.
I
Yeah.
loved Kurt so much that when his son came out with the Better Than Perfect t-shirt, I fucking hated him.
Really?
I was so mad, dude.
Yeah.
It was a good heel moment, but
No,
I
there was
hate you.
Brody?
When Brody died, that fucked me up.
That was big. Yeah.
Another one that really hit me in sports, when Sean Taylor died from the Washington Redskins at the time. He was like the first, so Darryl Green was my favorite Redskin, and then he retired, and then Sean Taylor started playing. And I just remember first game I went live, I was like, he's like, who's your new favorite player? I go, I don't know idea. And deep bomb down the sideline, intercepted by Sean Taylor. And I was like, that's my new favorite Redskin. And then he was like the hardest hitting person in NFL. Like he would lay people the fuck out. There's a video where in the Pro Bowl where like no one played hard during the Pro Bowl. No one cared. A punter decided he was going to do a fake punt and take off down the sideline, and Sean Taylor took his head off. Like killed him. He was so impactful to me that I went to a friend of mine went to the game and got me. This is fucking old, but this is from 2007. They gave these out at the stadium. This was the memorable. I went out and personally got that. Like when he died, that one fucked me up as a like. And then oh my god, then the next week after he died, so he got hurt, flew home to Florida where he was living. A member of his family on his wife's side broke in to rob the place, didn't know he was home. He startled them. They shot at the dark, hit his femoral artery in his leg.
Jeez.
The news report comes out that Sean Taylor was involved in a shooting in his home. Just a random thing. He shot in the leg. He should be fine. Went into the hospital, dead. Because he bled out, because it was like the main artery.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was just like no one was expecting it. And then the next week they played, and Washington... First play of the game, they're on defense. They played with only 10 people. No one played his position.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
they played with that one fucked me up. But yeah, I'm trying to think like rest. Like Brody's a big one for me. When we lost Brody, that one sucked.
Bray Wyatt.
It didn't do it for me.
Really?
What about the Wembley? Like, did that do anything for you? Like being in Wembley and then hearing his music. It was like 3 days after.
That
he
was a
passed
cool
away.
tribute when they were letting us into Wembley Stadium and they were playing his music. Like AEW was like play Bray Wyatt's music while we let everyone in to the stadium.
Yeah. So for me, it's not about Bray Wyatt. It's about the person.
Yeah.
Great person.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that's why that hit me. Because like for me, I was already checked out of wrestling. I didn't care about the Fiend angle at all. I thought it was pretty dumb. I loved Wyatt during the Wyatt versus Cena angle. I thought
Bobby
that was
Heenan
brilliant.
fucked me up because also
Really?
he's
Well,
someone
he had
who
brain
would-
cancer, right?
throat.
Oh, yeah.
He died with he died as a man who was such a golden voice and such
I
a
couldn't speak.
and he had no bottom jaw. He died unable to talk.
Mm.
That fucking
Yeah, it's
sucks. Yeah.
This one's obviously not wrestling related, but another one that really, really messed me up. One of my favorite actors, Alan Rickman. That one messed me up. Like, obviously, I grew up with the Harry Potter series and everything, but he was such an incredible actor for he's in my favorite musical, Sweeney Todd. He was
Sure.
in.
He was a real
He was in.
dick.
But yeah.
I like that. And Dogma 2, Kevin Smith is being really careful about replacing the Metatron character.
Yeah.
He wants it to be perfect. I think Helen Mirren, maybe?
Yeah.
Mm.
Actually, my favorite Rickman movie is CBGB.
What about
Die Hard, the best Christmas movie
No.
ever.
Dude, CBGB's a great fucking movie. All right. Any other pop culture ones? Who in pop culture is going to fuck you up when they eventually go?
You already know the
Taylor?
answer. Oh my God, I'm gonna be a mess.
I said her the other night. I'm like, I always said David Grohl is like my Jesus, like he can
And
do
then-
no wrong. And then I'm just like,
And then Taylor Swift went ahead and got married by Adam Sandler, and he was like,
and then
dang,
I watched Happy
Adam
Gilmore too,
Sandler.
and I was like, it's clearly Adam Sandler's my spirit animal.
He's
like,
the goat. He's the goat.
He's my
I think
dude.
I'd probably lose it a lot when I haven't watched all his movies. Like everyone's like, oh, you haven't watched. I haven't watched Billy Madison from beginning to end. I've
Oh.
never watched Mr. Deeds, but I've seen so many of his movies that I'm like,
he's a billionaire who literally makes movies that like actual movie critics like these are fucking dog
like this
shit.
would just be dumb.
But
it's
if you're
like
a fan of him, he scratches the itch for
He's
his
great.
fans.
Yeah.
He doesn't make movies for anyone else but the people who care about him.
Mm-hmm.
And in those movies, he's only fucking with the people he cares about.
But he's also so
Kevin Smith.
genuinely
Yeah,
a good
Smith too.
person.
Kevin Smith's
too.
gonna fuck.
Like
When we
It's-
thought
it's-
we lost Kevin Smith, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Dude,
Kevin Smith went in for the
I was
the heart
in.
attack.
I was scared, man.
That scared me.
Yeah. And I'm glad to have met him a few times.
Never met when Kevin Smith said, "I'm no
Yeah,
longer
we're
talking
going to
about
make that
things."
happen, by the way.
Yeah, when Kevin Smith said, "I'm no longer talking about things I don't like because it's a waste of energy," like I felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's been a pretty big inspiration to
he'll
a
be
lot of
one that I
things.
feel.
when Taylor Swift said your energy is a luxury item and not everyone can afford it, I felt that.
Ozzy fucked me up. Like the Ozzy one was rough. Like Ozzy's death was hard.
Yeah.
But yeah. All
How
right.
did you feel about Kurt Cobain? Were you into
I was
Kurt
so
Cobain
li-
at the time? I was very, very young when he passed away. You were a little bit older than me.
Yeah, I wasn't so much into like I didn't really start getting into like my music until like Enema of the State, Blink-182, Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. Like I was kind of like, here's what your parents listened to, and then I found those two bands, and then I found like TRL was like that's when I started finding my music, like Limp Bizkit, Korn. But
Right.
like I love those bands, but they were like the bands that everyone was like they're the cool bands to listen to. But like Blink, I listened to and I was like, they're funny,
But they're
also-
relatable.
but they're relatable, and they're talking about how girls don't like them, and they're fucking weird, and they're immature, and they're gonna always be immature and make fart and dick jokes, and just be unapologetically them. And I was like, this is my band.
Yeah.
Like they cope and hide behind their humor, and but still wear their insecurities on their sleeve. Like I love that. And Chester was obviously talking to me with the depression, but like
Right.
yeah.
I feel like people who like make me feel deep emotions one way or another, like Larry David. It's a funny emotion, but I'm going to be sad when he died. When his friend Richard Lewis died like a year or two ago, that really upset me.
Yeah.
Like these people have like
Pee Wee Herman fucked me up a
Oh,
little
you
bit.
watch a documentary,
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's
you
beautiful.
love it. You love
I
him
cried.
even more.
I cried. Yeah.
You know which one's going to hurt a lot for me is Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always looked at him like that could be like from someone who didn't have a prevalent father figure. Like that's who I wanted my dad to be, like someone completely respectable, someone
Yeah.
who like just
Uncle Phil.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved James
was
when James
was
Avery
everyone's
died. I
dad.
did cry. He was everyone's uncle.
He was everyone's dad. Uncle Phil was everyone's dad.
yeah.
For sure.
When they do the scene where he
Where
Where he's talking
hugs
about
him,
why
he's-
don't he love or why didn't he love me or what
Why'd
was
he-
it
why'd he leave
why
me,
he had
man?
to leave me, man? It was every time, man.
Yeah.
Tears
God damn
immediately.
it.
literally.
Dude.
Feeling it, bro.
Dude, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was such a good show. I
was.
love Will. I
It's
hate the
crazy
fact that
'cause-
Will went through what he went through, because Will Smith's another one that I really fucking like.
He's
It
just a
sucks
great
that
human, man.
that his fucking relationship is ruining his persona.
Philly Mike just sent me a video of him performing at the 250 thing.
Last
Really?
night, yeah.
God, I didn't know.
Yeah,
would've-
I love Will.
He's the best.
When Jonah Lucas made the fucking Will song, I was like, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, it was super good. All right, the last part here. People are too afraid of death, not in a religious sense, in a cultural sense. People do spend too much time avoiding the conversation. Would people live differently if they just accepted mortality more? You don't have to be obsessed with death, but maybe acknowledging acknowledging it makes life richer. How do you guys go about? Like, do you agree with that statement, or something? What would you add to that, to maybe the listener out there of being like, hey,
I think personally, on a cultural standpoint, it is something that's more celebrated where I come from, where I grew up, and like what's in my ethnicity. It's something that's not something to be afraid of. It's let's honor the dead. Let's talk about them. Let's eat their favorite food.
pop culture? The movie Coco.
Yeah, go watch
Oh,
Coco.
Yeah, perfect example of
It's
that
literally
culture.
let's honor everything about someone who's no longer with us and keep them with us and bring them back to us and have dinner with us and sit and tell stories about them as if they were still here with us and we're all laughing about it and enjoying that.
That makes me sadder than someone dying is the day someone stops speaking your name.
Yeah.
That makes me more upset than actually you not being here. Because like Malcolm Moore
That
had that great
legacy's
lyric.
gone.
He goes that he goes. Some say when you die twice. The first time is when you lay in the grave, and the second time is when someone no longer speaks your name. And I was just like, that's a lyric. You know what I mean? And then like even with the content, like I watched Coco and I was like, that's so fucking relatable. Like my podcast is my fucking altar.
Your ofrenda.
That's my ofrenda. Like if someone listens to an episode, that person's, whether they're
They're
here or
seeing all
not,
of
they're
it.
here forever.
Right.
Like I put them on wax, if that makes sense.
But I will say that, like, growing up the way that I did and growing up closer to Mexico and everything, I think that it was a beautiful thing. But I think that that's also kind of what opened my eyes to more of the goth subculture of, like, this isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to, like, find the beauty in the darkness, find something that makes you happy out of people being dead. Like, I feel like that kind of was overall, like, to me, I never wanted to watch scary movies because I didn't want to pee my pants. I don't like jump scares. I've never been that person. But watching things about death was never to me about like, oh, they're no longer here anymore. It was like, oh, well, it's okay because they're going to, like, I know this, not saying like every movie, but in my head, it was like, oh, well, they're dead now, but it's okay because their family is going to like talk about them later. Like, it's no big deal. as a kid who didn't understand how cinematography worked, just thinking that when actors died, they actually died. But I think that culturally, that is something that I had more dealings with when I lived in Texas. Like, living up here, I don't have a lot of friends who share the same culture as me.
Yeah.
So it's not easy for me to talk to about like that. And I feel like the majority of the ethnicity up here of Hispanics is very much more religious, and it's like, oh no, we don't talk about them unless we're honoring them. You don't talk about them unless you can't talk about the bad things someone did before they died. And it was like, no, you could talk about, like, where I grew up, you talk about everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're remembering that person.
Yeah. Pop culture definitely helped me. Like, most movies, like, even when a character dies, the other characters through plot is their death is the reason why they went. Their death is a reason, like, that was the plot point, you know. So yeah, definitely pop culture has been huge with me when it comes to the grieving process and stuff like that. How about you?
I don't know, when I was younger, it was very much an anxiety thing, and now that, like, I've discovered my own version of not religion but spirituality and understanding death the way I think it is, it goes from being anxiety to calming. So, like, when I think about, like, oh, I'm going to die one day, instead of my heart racing, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to die one day. I'm like, it's going to be all right.
Yeah, I have a lot of work to do now to make sure that
I do.
someone gives a shit about me later. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. But so, like, when it comes to other people dying, kind of like the honoring and the, like, Day of the Dead type stuff, like, I feel like rather than just letting them go or not remembering them or remembering them in certain ways, you bring them into you on a more personal level, and the way that you remember them in the small ways, or like eating the foods, or, you know, just remembering the moments, or just, you know, something you do makes you think about them.
Yeah.
Or, you know, when my friend Randy had passed, I had to drive past where he was buried every day to go to work. And I don't know, sometimes I would picture him standing up there and just, like, you know, waving by to me, or maybe popped in the seat next to me and just like, hey man, it's all right. Like,
Yeah.
I know that was my internal, you know, but it's just like, yeah, they're still with me because I carry them.
Yeah.
But you get that
Yeah.
energy. You feel that energy.
You do. And I'm like, I don't know if that's real. I haven't crossed over yet, but I know that I carry that. And so whatever energy that they put out into the world, I grabbed a little bit of it, and I keep
Absolutely.
that, you know.
I talk a lot of shit, and I don't really, like I say, the grieving thing, and it's not me talking shit. It's just like I feel like, and I'm not saying I'm not connected with the people who I've lost so far, or whatever it may be, and maybe I haven't. Maybe I haven't truly connected with a lot of the people that I have lost, and the main ones that I have lost that I did connect to, like my grandmother. Maybe that's the reason why I don't connect with a lot of people, because of that trauma that I experienced. But I'll be 40 this year, and that's put a lot of perspective in for me. Like, a lot of my family is in the later years of their life. A lot of my cousins are like, I'm getting to the point now where, like, this is the time where people can go, especially today's day and age. People are dying much younger because of lack of health care, insurance, health reasons, bad hearts, cancers. It's there. And this younger, and I'm getting to that later stages in life where I'm going to start losing friends, and I'm going to start losing people in the wrestling world that I've worked with for years. I'm going to, like, that, those moments are coming. I hope I'm strong enough that I still have the same energy where it's like, I'm going to stay true to my thing, but I don't know. Who knows? Every death, every person touches you in a different way. I just hope that I can still live the way I'm going now, where I can honor them and not let grief take over and control me and make me stall or halt my future progressions.
Well, like, also just, like, honor them in living your life to the fullest that you want to.
Yeah.
With no regrets. You know?
No regrets. Not even one letter.
Not even a letter.
Not even one letter. So real quick, ABJ updates. We do got some upcoming episodes. I will be still doing the topic of intrusive thoughts that'll be hitting. I do have some other ones planned that I want to do. I will be available at some wrestling shows coming up. July 10th, I will be unveiling the ABJ Social Media Championship, which will be sponsored by Alex here and the High Tension. It'll be between Allison Red. Gabby Gilbert. I almost said Forza. Thank you. You heard me starting to say it. Yep. And then Riley Crow will also be in that. So 3 homies. I'm super excited for them.
I'm excited.
I'm excited that and this was a point for a while. Even like I wanted to give it to the women the first time around because I think the ladies deserve it.
As you should. As you should.
Also, like, and I mentioned this in your little group.
3 generations.
3 generations of people I care about. I like them so much. Gabby was one of the first independent female wrestlers I saw at the shows I participated in.
You know who my first female match was?
Who's that?
My first match was Sammy Pandora versus Vanity.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. ABW.
No, it was AXW.
My first
really?
female match was an intergender tag team. It was Adina Steele. I want to say Mike Skyros was in the match. The very first. Do you recall at all?
Smash?
Yeah. I'm trying to think who it was. I'm trying to think who they were against.
Oh, was that
when they jumped off of the building, off the U-Haul? The
drive-in.
No.
It was at a baseball field, maybe, or football.
Oh, you were at the Cuyahoga Field.
Was it Kit and Adina?
I don't remember. I don't think Kit was. I'm pretty sure
tag team.
Yeah, but I feel like Kit was with Masty. I'm pretty sure for some reason I feel like Adina was with Mike Skyros.
Yeah.
They were tagging together with Jason Fury. Jason Fury ended up getting thrown off the U-Haul, but I can't remember who he was fighting with.
Yeah.
But that was the first female match I watched.
My first intergender match I watched was Adina versus Kit Raff.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Man,
that was the logo of my podcast for a while. It was the female German suplexing the male wrestler.
That's wild.
And it was Adina and Kit. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gabby Gilbert back in the day went by Roxy Cotton. So good. And then I was in junior high, and I loved it. I was like, this is funny. I get it. Drugs. And then Riley Crow, great friend. One of the best female wrestlers at Grace Smash and High Tension Wrestling. And getting to watch Allison Red go from...
Are you coming to the show?
Trainee. I'm going to try.
Fuck yeah.
Trainee to wrestler. I mean, it's really awesome to see these 3 generations, but also I've gotten to see their careers.
I'm excited to start this journey of this title. We do have T-shirts available. I'm wearing my Gears Ice Tea inspired shirt.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. You were talking about a belt. Where is it going to be for the very first show?
Yeah, so July 10th, I will be in Allentown for our Radical Wrestling Experience.
Pottstown.
Then the next day, I will be in Pottstown for Workers Pro Wrestling, where I'll be the full production team as well as commentary for both those shows.
Man, you're also really getting a production team up. Huh?
That will be the first 2 shows where I will have my cameramen who will come with me to shows and start filming and start training them, and actually have people who are willing to come to shows and grab a camera, and I'm going to teach them how to do what I do, and so I can deal commentary and set up a hard cam, and then I'll have people so I can show up for a show and be on commentary, but still have people who I can rely on to do production.
I really hope your experience is better than mine was.
I've had a lot of conversations. I'm too blunt. I've been kind of telling them, like, here's what I demand, and if I'm too much, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
And if it's too much, just know that you can say no at any point.
You can say no whenever you want. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that. So that's kind of coming up. The ABJ Productions train is leaving the station, and then we will be packed with shows in August. August 1st will be at Summit Hill for Wow That's Wrestling. We will have the big ladder match that I'm excited about. Then the following week, whatever the next week is back to Radical Wrestling Experience, and then the 15th, the 8th. Then the 15th, we're back here in Monty City, Pennsylvania, back in my hometown, with my title being defended, and I'm just pumped to be back home and be back in Monty City. I do got posters I'll be hanging up around town, so much good stuff. We're going to be doing more of these collaborations. You're going to be joining me a little more frequently. We're going to have some more conversations. If there's topics that you want us to cover, or things maybe you just want perspective on, or movie reviews, because we'd have some of those coming. We're going to throw those in, because we didn't really go over what we've been watching or looking into, because I knew this one was going to go a little longer, and I was kind of nervous with the cameras, but I think we're good. But so a lot of stuff is coming. Thank you guys so much. Grab some merchandise. If you do get any merch, though, please send me photos of you wearing the merch, so we can put you on the internet and thank you. I'm doing more of a spotlight of people who have bought shirts and merchandise over the years, so I do really appreciate that. There is other things I want to talk about, but I don't remember now.
This camera being in my face is a problem because every time I look at myself, I give a flirty like.
A little.
If you watch this back, you'll see I'm just like, hey,
Hey,
Hey.
how you doing?
How you doing? But yeah, I guess the big thing is if for now, I mean, we don't have to go and list names, but if this is our way of also saying the people we've lost, this is our way of honoring you, loving you, not forgetting your name. Thank you for being parts of our lives. Jackie's the big one, I guess. That's the one we're going to really lean on here.
It is a big one.
Yeah, thank you, Savage Granny, for being such an impact for all of us. And death isn't something that any of us can avoid, but maybe that's what makes life meaningful. Because our time is limited, then every conversation, every memory, every relationship matters that much more. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the ABJ podcast. This is ABJ, Lily, and the Kilowatt, and we're still alive. God damn it. We'll see you next time. For now.